What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Monday, July 20th. Now, in today's dog video, we have a lot to catch up on. The number one thing I want to talk about is this new news coming from Leonidas himself, the creator of Dog. And he introduced something called Dog Mode, which basically removes Dog from having any permission from Bitcoin Core or Bitcoin Nuts or even BIP 110. So we're going to talk about that and how the headlines have actually garnered more attention around this, introducing possibly a new governance around Bitcoin. But also we got to look into BIP 110's complete failure. It continues to domino effect to the downside. It just looks like it's not going anywhere. But the reason we need to cover it is because I love roasting these people. It's absolutely great. But I also want to share with you something else. There's a whale wallet, which is whale wallet number 7. That wallet particularly was created by a Binance Ordinal hot wallet. And I want to share with you what I discovered in my on-chain analysis regarding that wallet. So let's talk about it in this video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or emails. Please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. So I just want to let everybody know that last Friday on July 17th at around 5 p.m. Pacific time, my 15-year-old pet, her name was Shakti, passed away. And it was a really difficult time to let go of someone who was very close to our family. And I kept this very private from the public, and I just didn't want everybody kind of like getting too much involved with this because it was just so personal and close to home. And I wanted to spend a lot of time with her along with my wife. So if I'm not able to make any updates, or if you're seeing, any videos that are not uploaded, or if I'm not showing up for one of these days, it's because I'm kind of grieving at this very moment. It's even tough to make this video. So I just want to get everybody, updated on where my conditions are at. And yeah, we are sending a lot of love and prayers to our pet Shakti. Miss her so much, and she was like my baby girl. So yeah, if you can, send some prayers out there, send some prayers in the comments, send some prayers for Shakti. I'd greatly appreciate it. It would mean a lot to me. And yeah, thank you so much. So let's go ahead and begin the video. With Dog right now, it's still resisted around the 50-day moving average line. As you can see, we saw it actually bounce above that, meaning we actually broke above it because we actually saw someone in the Dog army, who's a prominent YouTuber, buy a ton. But we saw that the Dog price was suppressed below the 50-day moving average line. Now, again, I haven't had time to look into this specific activity, but I'm not surprised. Listen, we've had multiple times where Dog was trying to break past the 50-day moving average line, but was resisted. But notice something. The 50-day moving average line is curving. It curves because it's showing that there is now reverse momentum. That's what happens when you're seeing retests like this, and that's always very, very positive. Now, let's talk about BIP 110. Michael Saylor created 110 reasons why this proposal is such a bad idea. I'm not going to go through it all, but I absolutely love it. Michael Saylor does not like BIP 110. And what's really funny is that Ki Young Ju, who is basically the CEO of CryptoQuant, says BIP 110 is like amending the Constitution to ban littering in the park, which is actually kind of hilarious. Samson Mao, by the way, this guy used to kind of support Bitcoin Nuts. He actually empathized with Luke. Then all of a sudden he went 180, and he said that BIP 110 supporters are basically kind of like not heading the right direction. So he said today, you claim Bitcoin is captured by corrupt developers, and he's talking about Bitcoin Core. Suit coiners like Michael Saylor, spammers like runes and ordinal holders, or any other meta protocol on top of Bitcoin. Plus big Bitcoin, so like big Bitcoin maxis. And that's only an emergency soft fork can save it. When BIP 110 activates as a minority fork, can you in good conscience keep holding and using Bitcoin after causing so much drama? And now all the BIP 110 people that saw this person as a hero are now calling him the evil villain. And that just goes to show, like, they'll choose anybody that advocates for them, but when somebody speaks against them, they're now the sworn enemy. And that's just the mentality behind these people. Now, before we talk about Dog mode, we need to address something. Now, Bitcoin Core and BIP 110 are always trying to basically have a say on where ordinals and runes are, aka spam. But what you don't know is that data that you can have on Bitcoin is around 1 megabyte, believe it or not. So Bitcoin has one rule, and it's a consensus rule, and that's determined by 1 megabyte of data. Bitcoin Core limits basically the amount of data that people can actually have on the Bitcoin blockchain, but that's only based within its own rules. It's not actually a law of Bitcoin. The law of Bitcoin is 1 megabyte. The rule that Bitcoin Core introduces is having it capped at a certain amount of megabytes. I think it's around like 100 something or 184 kilobytes. Either way, it's basically setting its own rules. And BIP 110 wants to go back to like 84 bytes. So basically, these two different developer groups are trying to determine where dog and spam can be. But the thing is, the law of Bitcoin cannot change, and it's always 1 megabyte. So basically, anybody can do whatever they want with Bitcoin. That's just the overall greatness around Bitcoin, is that it's based on consensus. So that's why we're introducing this announcement, which is Leonidas bringing up dog mode. So he introduced this open source Bitcoin client called dog mode. So as you know, over the past few years, Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Nuts have been enforcing rules that Bitcoin itself does not actually have. He says a transaction can be fully valid under consensus and still be blocked from normal relay because it's non-standard. This has resulted in the creation of a private black market for Bitcoin transactions, where insiders with connections to miners get to do things that ordinary Bitcoin users cannot. And that actually garnered a lot of attention, such as CoinDesk, bringing that dog mode is fighting against BIP 110, and also bypassing data restrictions. Then you have BN Crypto, also talking about how dog mode is trying to remove two major relay restrictions. One is raise the standard transaction limit from 400,000 weight unit to 3.9 million weight unit. Cut the dust limit from 294 to 546 sats to just 1 sat. That would make larger transactions easier to relay and free up sats currently wasted as paddings for Ordinals and reused TXOs. Unlike BIP 110, this stays within Bitcoin's existing consensus rules, which is the law of Bitcoin. The law of Bitcoin is that you can have at least 1 megabyte of anything on Bitcoin. Leonidas says that ordinary users should have the same transactions access as insiders who can deal directly with the miners. Cointelegraph also reporting on Ordinals advocate Leonidas proposes new Bitcoin client, dog mode. Then you also have BSCN News reporting right now small transactions have to include extra unusable Bitcoin just to get accepted. Dog mode would remove that requirement, freeing up an estimated 25 million in Bitcoin that's currently locked in place. Unlike some other proposed fixes, dog mode does not require Bitcoin to split into a new version. It only changes how transactions are relayed, not the core rules that govern the Bitcoin network. And CoinDesk, in a very positive article, talks about how dog mode will explain Bitcoin's next government's fight. This is an absolute trailblazer of different news lines and headlines around dog mode. Dog mode and dog itself is at the center of all these conversations, from Bitcoin Core, Bitcoin Nuts, BIP 110, Bitcoin Maxis. How can you not be bullish on dog? Dog is unlike any other coin out there. It's not even really a meme coin anymore. It's not even just a fungible token. It's not even just a movement. It's really just one of the most transformative things that we could see within the Bitcoin network that's going to make Bitcoin the next new Bitcoin 2.0 in some certain way. And dog is a part of that history. And that's why you see like Dan, who bought roughly around 16 million dog. And that's why you saw that sharp spike within the dog price, and then it coming back down. Maybe it could be like limit sell orders being placed, who knows, right? But here's the thing, I want to pay attention to this specific wallet right here. And this is a wallet number 7. So whale wallet number 7, if you don't know, currently holds around like 1 billion dog tokens. So that's roughly around 652,000 US dollars based on yesterday's screenshot. Now, what I want you to notice in the screenshot is something around who created the wallet. Guess what? A Binance Ordinal hot wallet created this specific wallet on January 26th of 2024. This was about 3 to 4 months prior to Runes Protocol and dog being airdropped, or the Runes Protocol being created and also the dog being airdropped. So that's what's really crazy. But notice that this wallet also has interactions with OKX, Gate.io, and Bybit. But what I want to focus on more is Binance and Gate.io. And when I did on-chain research, these are my findings. So check this out. So I trace the 7th largest dog wallet all the way back to its first transaction. Now, here is what 2 years of on-chain history looks like. Now, right now, it holds around 1 billion dog tokens. It received roughly around 1.19 billion dog tokens, but it kept 86% of it. every major buy came from one exchange, Gate.io. And it only had one big sell. And guess where that sell happened? It sent it back to Gate.io to sell it. It's basically a closed loop, withdrawal to accumulate, deposit to unwind, same venue, 2 years straight. Now, the wallet was first funded by Binance, as I mentioned before, in January 2024, just 3 to 4 months ago, before DOG even existed. Then it went into a 9.5 month quiet period, so nothing was happening with the specific wallet during that time. Then all of a sudden, it woke up and nearly doubled in a single transaction, which is what you see right over here. Then its latest move, which was just 5 days ago, it accumulated roughly 107 million DOG tokens. So whoever runs this has been on Bitcoin since March of 2022, because this wallet is actually quite old and knows exactly what they're doing. So this is the thing that you need to understand about this slide, is that this specific whale wallet number 7 that currently holds 1 billion DOG tokens was funded and created by Binance. Even though this wallet existed in March of 2022, it was then revitalized 4 months before Runes was created and also their DOG airdrop. And remember, when the Runes protocol was just being rumored on crypto Twitter, that was around the same time frame, which was around January 2024, when people were like, okay, what is Runes? What are Runes all about? It didn't come out just yet. So Binance was actually preparing for that, right? This is something you just can't ignore. This is literally on-chain data. And remember, April 24, 2024 is when Runes protocol launched, and then shortly after that, the DOG airdrop occurred. Just 1 month after, this wallet was then reactivated and accumulated a ton of DOG. Okay, so with that said, I'm looking into charting analysis, nothing to really kind of update everybody. As I mentioned before, DOG was fighting below the 50-day moving average line, which is why the DOG price is right down here. Now, when I'm paying attention to the MACD is still kind of like hovering right below the buyer's market. It's still in the seller's market. And with the RSI, we saw a rejection off of this yellow line, which shows that there was some type of selling pressure trying to bring it down. But when I look into the weekly time frame, you can still see clearly that DOG is still heading upwards out of the seller's market into the buyer's market. When that does happen, things can get really wild. And what I would love to see is that DOG price does go into the buyer's market, because we could see something very similar like this, where the DOG price reflective very positively to the upside. Same thing over here. This was actually very positive for DOG. So we need to see something like this, and we haven't seen it in 2 years. So as I said before, basically to end this video, you just understood how DOG mode is going to reinvent how Bitcoin Core and Bitcoin Knots have been limiting DOG, Ordinals, and Runes from actually maximizing the potential within Bitcoin. Bitcoin miners, by the way, want to be paid transaction fees by far. I mean, they're the only ones like keeping the network secured. So this is why it's very positive to see that there's this new introduction of a new government's proposal regarding this DOG mode. And then you saw how everybody's buying DOG, and even that Binance wallet that was created, just January 24, just 3 or 4 months before Runes protocol launched. And then 5 days ago, after a 9.5 month dormant activity, then all of a sudden came back alive just 5 days ago and accumulated roughly over 100 million DOG tokens. So what do you think is actually happening? I mean, when you think about all this, it's a lot to think about. And so I want you to kind of come up with your own thoughts, because I'm here just to kind of like share with you what I see. But it's up to you to come up with your own consensus and conclusion based on this data. And I cannot wait to hear those comments down below. So I just want to thank all of our donors that are supporting this channel. You can see yourself on screen. Thank you so much. I couldn't do this without you guys and girls out there around the world. And if you can right now, by supporting the channel, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding DOG and the Moon. Till then, see you guys and girls next time.